high value men that think that it's high value to work for the city, let me tell you something. You're absolutely wrong, all right? No police officers, no firefighters, no construction workers, no mailmen, no post office. If you consider that a high value man, you're absolutely wrong, okay? There's nothing high value about making $70,000 a year. It's pathetic. It's sad, all right? I don't want my husband coming home smelling like trash. Yes, we do need people to take the trash out. You guys need to go get some real careers, okay? Become an entrepreneur or something, all right? Own a Lamborghini or something. Like, you driving around here in a Toyota and thinking that you're a high value man because you work for the post office. You're absolutely wrong. Stop it, all right? You're low value, all right? And if you want a high value woman like me, you need to switch your career path.
I think I can say this on behalf of my firefighter brothers. With all due respect, ma'am, we're good.
No. No. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny here today. We're going to have a talk with the youth with our society, everyone in our society, and we're going to talk about social media a little bit because I'm finding a very troubling trend that I'm noticing about social media. Let's listen to Dr. Jordan Peterson about his synopsis about that intro you just saw. Wow. If you want to understand narcissism, watch this. And I believe social media is causing more narcissistic behavior. Now, a lot of women might be rushing to my comment section and saying, yes, we notice a lot of these men are claiming themselves to be alpha males and they deserve the best and they don't live in their mom's basement, but they want a pretty woman. And I understand all this stuff. But I got some facts to drop on the women. All right. Women, conservative women, liberal women, conservative women, please intervene because yo, I stand by my statement because you let this lady hear. She said, oh, making $70,000 a year is not high value when only 16% of households. That means not a single I'm not talking about individual. If it's individual, probably the number's probably even smaller. But I'm talking about household incomes. Only 6% of households make between around $70,000 a year. To make over that, only 12%. 75,000 to under 100K a year. Only 12% of households make that combined. That's combined income. That's everybody that lives in your household. Only 16% of households meet that requirement. And she is talking down and treating like they're worthless men that make around that much money because they work for the city. Right. And this new trend with women making demands about what they want out of life. And last time I checked, you don't get what you want. You get what you deserve. And if you haven't, and she's like, you want a high value woman like me? I'm like, no, no, you're not. No, craziness. Right. Because she wants to take a dump on people that work for the city. Is this trend I'm noticing? Black women tend to do this too. They look down on blue collar workers. They think they're too good for blue collar workers. But these are the women that are the most divorced, least married group of women in America. But they have all these high expectations. It's the epitome of narcissism. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is I think women have a narcissistic problem in social media. First example, multiple studies have found that social media use is linked with both type of narcissism, grandioso and vulnerability. I'm gonna get back to this in a later part of the video. In other words, the more people use social media, the more likely they are to have narcissistic personality traits. Now, women are gonna come in my comment section and say, yes, but everyone uses social media, Kenny. That means all of us as a whole are more narcissistic. Well, some are more narcissistic than others, right? So I found the stats. I was looking at it. Who clocks more time on social media, right? Because that's the obvious thing. Okay, if your social media use, the more you use social media, the higher of the probability that you have narcissistic personality traits. Overall, women tend to spend a greater share of their online time using social media platforms, but social media platforms are relatively share decrease steadily with age across all genders. This is something very prevalent amongst young adults, Gen Z, right? Look, and this is a study I want to hone in on. Surveys have found on average female teens spend nearly 1 hour, about 5 hours more each day on social media than their male counterpart, 4.4 hours so men only spend about 4 hours on social media. Women spend about 5 hours on social media, right? And given the propensities, I can make the claim that social media is making women in general more narcissistic. And I think this is why some people say, hey, go outside, touch grass. And this is general for everybody, but I'm noticing a very specific trend with women, especially on TikTok. Let's take a look. Here's a clip from Candace Owens that kind of highlights an example of what exactly that I'm talking about. Let's take a look.
Abnormalize trauma dumping. You're wondering still what trauma dumping is. I'll give you some examples of it. It's women that cry on the internet, that are living out private parts of their life publicly. Here is just one example of it.
Normalize crying in your car. We see you randomly think of books that traumatized you with so much sadness.
Do we need to normalize that, guys? Do we need to normalize just crying in your car because you think of a book? Is that really something that we need to normalize? I think not. Let's not do it. Here's another example of a woman living her trauma out loud on the internet. Take a look. The caption reads, this is a very vulnerable video. She is expressing that she's crying because her husband is getting more love from the child than she is. And he is rubbing her back as she cries and folds laundry.
Stop. You are better close. I'll be there. Come here.
And I love that you have a connection with him. I do it. Just kills me a little bit.
So if you can't hear her through the tears, she's saying to her husband that the baby loves him more and that, she feels like a failure because of that. The thing that strikes me as disturbing about trauma dumping is the camera setup. It's knowing that before she cried and started folding laundry, she set up her camera at a perfect position that would capture her, her husband, and her child. And then she just let it go. She dumped that trauma and started crying. People are sitting in their cars. Before, it's that moment before. It's this part. It's like, I have a feeling coming up, but before I cry, I'm going to just set it up. And then they go, you just need to normalize crying in your car. No, I think we got to stop doing that. I want women to button it up this year. I want women to be more emotionally stable on the internet. Again, these are not trends that we see happening for men, and I don't think it's healthy. I actually don't think it's mentally healthy to think about crying in front of a bunch of strangers and grabbing your smartphone before.
You see, now you heard that. And I think this is a big problem. Let's look at surveys. The survey goes to find that liberals are 18 percentage points less likely to be completely satisfied with their mental health than conservatives. But the problem appears to be actually acute for liberal women who register the lowest level of satisfaction with their lives and mental health. These liberal white women are the most likely group of people to trauma dump on the internet, to seek this behavior. And it's just, it kind of I say confirm a lot of observations that I noticed, is that it seems like white liberal women have this idea that the world revolves around them. And I'm not trying to pick on white liberal women specifically. I highlighted earlier in the video a black liberal women because most black women are liberal. Let's take it let's keep it 100, and it shows the same patterns. Right? They struggle with mental health. They pushing about all this stuff about therapy. No, women need therapy more than men. I can see that point. Right? Social media use is more harmful to women. I can see that point. Because men look for solutions to their problems. If something you're using and that you're being exposed to causes you to look at your life less satisfactory, more than half of young white liberal women have a diagnosed mental health issue. And now you're trauma dumping that stuff on the internet. infecting other people who don't have your problems, but then you start getting exposed to this stuff. It starts affecting your mood, especially that women spend an hour more on social media than men. Men also have this, like men struggle with this also, but it seems like these trends and these attitudes always affect women. And you wonder why, as you go younger, the rate of transition, like people who wants to transition to the opposite sex, is overwhelmingly young teenage women. Because these social media apps are instilling feelings of inadequacies, envy, jealousy, because they say comparison is the thief of joy. And it's no wonder that like liberal women tend to be less happy than conservatives, because this is the message conservative women are pushing. Candace Owens is pushing a message of, hey, don't share all your deepest, saddest moments on the internet for strangers to get attention from them. You need to practice emotional stability. And you see in the studies, the results. Conservative women are more happy with their lives than liberal women. But instead of copying the approach that conservatives are taking and take the good of it and apply it to your life, liberal women will cry and roar against this, attitude, this view, this approach to approaching social media. And I think social media, these TikTok trends, especially TikTok, I think TikTok is the worst of the social media platforms for this stuff, because it seems like everyone's there just to chase attention and negativity, because negativity is the thing that gives you the most attention. It's scientifically backed by psychologists. Negative stuff gets more attention than positive stuff. So what you're gonna get on social media? A bunch of negative stuff. Most males like me, for instance, most of my time I spend on YouTube, right? But most of my content palette or digestion is education based. I go on YouTube to learn about stuff, not just for mindless content, entertaining content. That's what TikTok is primarily pushes on their platform. Unless you go to China, then TikTok's pushing you to become an engineer. But this is the kind of things that I think a good message will be, is to restrict self-restrict your usage of social media. And I think that will make us a happier society and a better society. Right. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of people disagreeing with me on my comment section, but that's fine. But I gave you my case. I gave you some examples. Right. And I don't think it's a healthy thing to try to keep pushing your trauma on other people, because what they say, trauma creates trauma. So I don't understand this need and this adrenaline. Like it speaks to me that a lot of people are bored with their lives to the point where they're so vestedly interested in the problems and the trials and the traumas of other people. To me, to kind of increase that power by like 1,000, by 1,000, right? And I don't understand it, right? Honestly, maybe I'm just rambling at this point, but it's something I find very concerning. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, especially women. Like, how you feel about all this stuff, all these trends, all these things it feels social engineering. Like they're trying to push women to do a lot of these things, chase these Joneses. Hey, be like this. You got to be like that. Right. And liberal women, like feminists of the past, complain about how society has expectation of them to be a dutiful, good wife. But nowadays, social media and society at large now expect women to work, go to school, get that, have this certain lifestyle, live this feminist dream, and you shouldn't be mad about it. You shouldn't be sad about it. F your family. They take second priority to your job. It's almost like it's the opposite. So what did you gain from feminism? All you did was trade one societal pressure for another. Hey, I'm just rambling at this point. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. What you guys take on social media use? Do you think it does create more narcissism? Do you think it creates less? You think it's not a problem? Is a problem? I want to hear it all in the comment section below. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.